It's nice to be here.
We're back. So we have Susan Tronti, one of our family partners, Natalie Johns, family partner, Kristen McLaughlin, CEO. We're here. This week we are talking about what we're hearing. This is our hearings strike a chord session, and so we are talking about what we are hearing from our clients, and of course there's lots of things, but we sort of this month, because we've heard it from several different clients, we're sort of trying to say what that is, what that looks like, and so this month it happens to be fraud.
Yeah.
So what are we hearing?
Well, hearing different things. I mean, fraud is showing up in emails, voicemails, solicitations through the mail, but mainly electronically probably, and hearing more and more people being solicited by phone under the guise of some kind of government organization or your bank. Or I personally got one not long ago here at the office that told me someone, I think you were with me, Nat, when I got it. They called me and said someone did I request a credit increase with a credit card with Eagle and like the Eagle brand clothing. And I said no. And they were very aggressive with me and said, well, wait a minute, somebody tried to open a card using your name. They want $7,000 credit line. And to the point where he was angry at me, the person soliciting me, and then put me through to his supervisor. And I said, I know this is a scam and I don't care to go any further. And he actually yelled at me. And said, what do you want me to do? So I hung up. Yeah. But, you know, they can be very persistent, number one, and that's intimidating when you have someone on the phone and then you start to second guess yourself. You know, you're saying, I don't know, maybe this is, let me look at the number, and the number isn't relative. So I think for any of us, just being very diligent, and if you know you didn't do something and somebody's trying to convince you you did, or there's something in your name, I think the best thing to do would be, why don't you give me the information? I'll take it down and look into it, kind of thing, as opposed to giving said person, even if they're legitimate. Because if they're legit and they're real, they have a way of doing that they're going to have information that they're able to provide you with.
Well, and they multi-factor you, like we're going to send you a code, tell me what the code is, and you know, and that they're getting better at the fraud people, I would say, are getting better and better at confusing us, as far as that goes. And I guess maybe as a little bit of background, we could talk about like our cybersecurity and what that looks like in the training that we go through. We all just got emails today. You know,
I haven't gotten mine yet. Now I'm on the lookout for sure.
Okay. Well, we all everybody at Natalie got emails today saying, here's your cybersecurity training. It's 45 minutes.
Oh, yes,
and
that one, yeah.
We do get, you know, we have a company that we pay that keeps us abreast of sort of the latest and the greatest of scams that are out there. And
they try to trick us.
And they try to trick us. We pay them to try to trick us.
Spoof emails, and it's like a game. You get to send a fish alert and send the suspicious email to them, and then you get a congratulations. We were trying to trick you, and you've won.
Right. We pay them to try to trick us, and who needs more training? Yeah. So, but I think one of the things that's important from our security perspective is we are having this training, and we are looking at all of the things that we can do to prevent what could possibly go wrong. Like, a client tries to email us and say that they need money moved to their account, and oh, by the way, their account number is changing. Well, 10 years ago, that would probably be a legitimate way to get that information and for us to do something. And now we know, like, this can be AI faked, a phone call, and their voice can be AI faked. And so we're learning some other new procedures that we have to put in place that says, okay, actually, we're going to call that person back and say, we've got your email, and we have found that, you know, it's not always from them. Right? So anyway, I think we're trying to be as preventive as possible, but the best thing that we can do is have the human interaction and make sure that, you know, we're talking about these things. And if one of us gets something that we feel is suspicious, we try to bring it up to all of us on the team. But I think part of this is telling our clients, like, this is what we're doing and this is why we're being a pain and calling you back. And
Right.
So,
Well, and actively trying to prevent scams.
Right.
And then one thing that I had heard recently from Clark Howard, who's pretty good resource, was that there's a new scam with the ACAT system, which is the Automated Customer Account Transfer System that brokerages use to transfer securities from, Schwab to Fidelity. And I guess scammers now are submitting fake ACAT paperwork to transfer and basically steal brokerage assets. And so, if you have a typical brokerage account, there's some things that you can do going into Fidelity or Schwab. But one of the things we do here at Legacy is custody accounts in the company name. And so, this is just a further layer of protection for our clients that, if a scammer does get your Fidelity account number, there's absolutely no way they're going to be able to submit transfer paperwork to Fidelity and be able to withdraw the assets that are in your accounts here at Legacy. It's just not possible.
It's just not right. It's just not possible.
Even if doesn't happen often, but if a client decides to leave Legacy and go to a new firm, the new advisor would not be able to submit electronic transfer paperwork to Fidelity and have those assets pulled. We actually have to push them to the new firm. So if
technical terms, pull and push.
Pull and push. I'm trying not to use too many acronyms here. TOA, ACAT. But at any rate, so if you did hear that Clark Howard, warning, just know that your accounts here at Legacy are protected from that concern.
Well, and we've tried to take as many steps like that as we possibly can because we are in charge of protecting our clients' assets, right? So yes, we're trying to protect, market swings and all that kind of stuff. But truth of the matter is, one of the reasons we look at people's insurance is because we're in charge of protecting all of their assets and making sure that, as much as we can to keep things safe.
Right.
So, any other good ones?
I think, I was just going to make a comment that I think one of the things that benefits our clients, our Legacy clients, is because each one of us as family partners do not have 400 families each that we're representing. We know our clients. We generally know their habits.
Yes.
So if I had a client and even if their voice were able to be AI faked, so to speak, and they would ask me to send something to a Wells Fargo account, I already know, wait, they don't have an account at Wells Fargo. They never call me and ask me for money.
Right.
This is totally out of the ordinary.
Yes, and I think that is another way that we safeguard things, not intentionally, but by virtue of the way we do business and our familiarity and relationships with our clients and their families.
Right, that's a very good point.
I think
that
that's
has
helpful.
happened to Carol. She's, answered the phone several times, and they say that they are ABC person, and they're like, I want to move money, and Carol's been like,
No, you're not.
That didn't sound like Tom. Right?
Right.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to call Tom back. And, as it turns out, we found out that the person is not even in the country. Right? And they're not calling us for money. So they try. I mean, it's pretty crazy to me how, they actually try.
And they probably try repeatedly all day long, and they'll get, maybe they get 20% to respond.
You don't have to get very many.
That's a good day.
When you're dealing with a Legacy, you don't have to, one scam will, set you up for a while if it actually works.
If it works.
You get a lot of money potentially. So, what else?
So speaking of trying, I had a client forward a voicemail that she received recently from Medicare, and the woman on the phone was very muffled. You could hear some words come through, but what sounded like the important words did not come through, and so it was kind of like she got very worked up. Like, I think that I need to call them. I think that I owe them money. So she forwarded the voicemail to me. I listened. I was under the impression it was a scam. I Googled the phone number, and it doesn't pop up. Like, you can't find this number, whereas if it was a legitimate company, it would be Medicare. Yes, call us at 1-800, whatever the number is. And so Medicare, we believe, does not unsolicited call you. They would
Right.
return your call, but they're never going to call you and
Right.
tell you you owe money. They'll send you a letter
Yes.
in the mail.
Snail mail.
Snail mail, not an email.
That's one of the things we like about those old-fashioned,
Right.
untech kind of situations. I think another thing that's helpful too is emails. I mean, in terms of determining whether an email is legitimate or not. Lots of times you get something, I've seen them from clients, it says it's from the Social Security Administration.
Yeah.
And it's got the very, the logo looks legit, the letter looks professional. Lots of times you can catch things here and there because they don't know the language well, so
Right.
there's a grammatical
AI has
error.
changed that.
I know.
So the grammar is
It's much
correct
better.
now. We used to get,
They'd be easy.
I'm the king of, some country that we've never heard of or barely heard of, and I have money to give to you, but the grammar was bad.
Right.
Right.
And it was
Now-
easily
Yeah,
decipherable.
Now it's
Yeah, and I think if you take a look at the email, the sender, and you click on it, lots of times you might not be able to see it when you're viewing the email, but when you click on that email to get the full address,
Yeah.
it's somebody's Gmail account,
Right.
a random person. So I think, again, just erring on the side of caution. If it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. And I think that we just need to be super diligent these days because there are so many opportunities for really crafty people who are technologically smart
Right.
to kind of,
It was interesting. I was talking to our son, and he's a computer science engineer, and he said, my biggest worry is not grandma's generation because they're not technology that astute, right? Like they're probably going to call Natalie and they're going to say, hey, this doesn't sound right or whatever. He said, Mom, it's you. He said, because you are going to get a call from me that says blah, 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 blah. And you are going to have a conversation with me that's an AI bot and you are not going to know the difference.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so he said, like establishing a code word when when you do
Yes.
talk to, what's our family code word for,
A real emergency.
like a real true emergency that nobody's obviously going to guess, but
It's not written down. We didn't email it to each other.
we didn't email it to each other, maybe on a piece of paper behind the cupboard in the kitchen,
Yeah.
right? But not electronically. And I
Right.
thought, wow, that's a great, like particularly I feel like with our children or with my mom, like what's our code word going to be? That I know that I'm talking to you,
Right.
human. So anyway, there are tricks like that. I mean, humans are still smarter than all of this if we do the communication part properly.
Right.
But I thought that was an interesting observation from him
Yeah.
that you aren't going to question it. Grandma would question
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Grandma probably would just be like, I don't know, I can't figure that out and hang up on the thing.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, you're going to engage.
And I
Right.
think it's
So-
important just to remember that 99% of the time it's okay to step back. Just
Yes.
pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do like you did. Gather the information. I don't know, let me think about it. Is always
Even
been
if
good
it is
advice.
you're a family member,
Right.
if you're kind of like, this is out of
is
character for
wondering.
him, but obviously this may be a special situation, let me call you right back.
Yep.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Disconnect that call and
Yeah.
actually dial the
Right,
The
or
person
ignore
member.
the text and call.
Yes,
And,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that, and there are some things that we can do, like freezing your credit, right? If you freeze your credit, then nobody actually can go try to open up an account.
count in your name.
Technically, although it happens, like they'll give them a $3,000 credit limit, and
Right.
and sometimes that gets through because Athleta or Old Navy or somebody will just do it, assuming that they'll let you charge right away.
It's a
with it.
small
Right,
enough amount
right.
that they're.
And so that's a problem because you have to be really, really careful about stuff like that. But anyway, there are some things like that that I think you can do, but it's minimal. What we can, the bad guys are bad. So
just talking to people, talking
Yeah.
to advisors and friends and family and sharing stories and experiences, I think
and
is
I don't,
very important.
Like I think one of the things that like it's okay to say, I was uncomfortable with this and I need help. Like we
Yeah.
would rather have that. Like if there's a question on an email,
Yeah.
call us. If there's a question on something that happened to you, call us.
Yeah.
Because chances are we've heard it from another client or
Right. Experienced it in our own lives.
or experienced in our own lives, but also that we can then share it,
Right.
right? We have forums where we can share this, whether it's in Family Matters or whether it's like this, right? Those are kind of the parts of what we're trying to do to educate everybody as much as we can, but we don't know it all.
Right.
So we've had a situation with a client that they were just mortified that they actually gave one of those gift card things to a client, right? And then
The gift card scam.
The gift
Yeah.
card scam. And so then they, you can't stop the train, right? And
Right.
so, like it happens. It happens
Right.
to all of us. It doesn't, it's
Yeah.
nothing but a scam.
And it's
they're
not that
good at
anyone
it.
is stupid. It's that
It's
they've become
not.
so sophisticated
They become-
that
right.
it feels very real.
If they
And-
can have a bot have a conversation with my child, right, and me believe it, like that's scary.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think communication and the human interaction is the biggest part. But is there anything else that we do? I was trying to think, like from our cybersecurity education, we do. Do you want to talk a little bit about like our tabletop exercise, where we've sort of had a cybersecurity system company come in and sort of try to fool us?
Yep, trusted partner, one of our IT partners, came in, had 5 of us in the meeting from Legacy. It was a 3-hour meeting. Ran through about 8 different scenarios of, okay, so you've received this email and it's suspicious and it's malicious and nobody clicked on the link. What do we do? How do we classify that?
Right.
And are you sure you're going to classify it as a level 1 or a level 2?
Right.
Or, yes, we're sure. Okay, but now somebody's clicked on the link and we don't know exactly what happened. Now how are we going to classify it? And you call us and we see that they've gotten into your systems, but we don't know how far they've gotten in. How do you classify it? What do you do? And so with each classification, it was, this is going to be our response.
Right.
So I feel like we're definitely better prepared
Yeah.
for
Certainly-
something to
certainly
happen than we were
trained.
before
Like-
that.
Like I don't think I realized like how quickly like police and FBI and governmental agencies should be notified. So
Right.
like we learned a lot. Like, is it this is really scary or is this not really scary? How do you tell your clients that something's
You
happening?
have to
What-
say anything. Did
Yeah.
anything happen?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, what information was divulged, if any? And so, luckily, we've done a lot of protections within our system that we can't just, not one person can just email willy-nilly back out to our client base or something,
Right.
which is great. But
Well, and a client can't email me and ask me to move money and then I can move it.
Right.
Right.
I actually can't move money.
Right, exactly.
I can
Right.
field
On
your
purpose.
request.
That's on purpose.
Right?
Right.
Right.
I can give the request to someone on a different team.
And there's a dual
know,
approval
dual
process
approval
there, too,
You know,
so
I
it's-
can sign a check if it gets printed, but I can't move the money and print the check and all that.
Right.
So there's definitely at least 3 people in every
That's with money
transaction.
really coming in or going out, right? It's just there's different levels of dual control, and everybody has different authorities.
Yeah.
So we try, but I mean, I think education and talking about it is the best thing that we can do. So, yeah, you guys have anything else you want to add to?
I just think the final thing is the latest and greatest crypto scams that are out there. We actually had someone come in off the street. I say off the street, but he made an appointment to come in and talk to us about
all the money.
all the money he had put into purchasing cryptocurrency. We do have one of our colleagues here, Dalton, was able to, he knows a lot about crypto and was able to really pick up on the fact that it was a scam, and the gentleman did not want to believe us. He did not believe that, in fact, it
didn't
wasn't
have-
real, and we're talking
A lot.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. That he
But
believed.
he was
had,
on
he
a-
had millions in
that
the
he
crypto
right
that it had
he
earned.
felt he had earned,
Right.
and it was just
Sad.
it's just difficult to see because it was somebody that was being taken advantage of and had spent a considerable amount of life savings investing in what he thought was legitimate, and
Right.
it was
It's sad.
98% sure it was a scam.
Yeah.
So
And didn't we report that one? 'Cause
we
have
did.
a
We
relationship
contacted
with
the FBI because they had been in here to do
Yeah,
a
some
program
training.
with us for
Right.
our clients at one point, and they were, they took down what information they had, but like unfortunately, even as advanced as the FBI is, it's very hard to trace these people, especially I think in the crypto world where it's
Yeah.
very international. I mean, most of it is international anyway, but
Yeah.
I think that operates in a certain way that lends itself to legitimacy because it is kind of there's no actual product. There's
Right.
Well, and if he was a client, we would have been able to we've been talked through it early.
Right.
As opposed to like after the fact. They're like he'd already given these people, like you said, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
And so there was nothing at that point that we could do. So anyway,
Right, but just encouraged him to try to get some of it out,
Yes.
to try to help him understand you're probably never going to be able to get that out.
Right, and that
but
was
at that
true.
point, you're so far into it that he didn't want to try to do that because he didn't want to pull any out because then he might not get that opportunity to get even more if he left it in there. So they kind of
Yeah.
get you with the whole
They do.
greed
Psychological,
thing and and it's just sad. But anyway, just I guess the bottom line is just if it doesn't feel right or if it sounds too good to be true,
Yeah, that's
so
true.
corny but
Probably
so true.
is.
Yeah, probably
It
is.
probably is too good to be
Yeah.
true. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
As we hear more,
We will,
we will
keep
share
you
on our
informed.
hearings
Continue.
episodes.
Yes. Yes, we're having these once a month. So
Once a month.
well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
On
Thanks
that
for
note,
having us.
we'll say goodbye.